So what have you been surviving in love lately?
I've been celibate for 5 years.
How?
I was married early.
Let's talk about that.
Hey, I'm Asha Cerise, a life coach, creative, and truth teller who helps people heal from heartbreak and find their way back to themselves. But before all that, let me tell you, at 16, I got myself involved in something I had no business being involved in. What started as young love turned into a roller coaster of grooming, gaslighting, and emotional chaos.
I'm not trying to judge you.
I was 16.
Okay.
He was a man.
What? How old?
23. Next thing I know, I hear, busted. It was like everything turned into
slow motion.
I look to my right. There's a car that stopped next to us, and there is a woman getting out of the passenger side, walking, real power walking, heading my way. Although I have done a lot of healing work, and I transmuted that pain into my power and my purpose, my younger self has been a little silenced. I stayed quiet to protect images and to shield others from the truth, but no longer will I allow my experiences to have been done in vain. My story will save someone else's life. I chose to break the cycle and help other women do the same. But let me tell you how I got there. Want to hear it? Here it go. This is Bride and Groomed.
On the last episode of Bride and Groomed.
I started going to visit my ex in prison. I had a closet full of clothes for him that I had bought. I get out the shower. I look out the peephole, and it's one of the guys from the prison.
So I've been out for a while. I wasn't sure if he was home yet, so I was just coming through to check on him. I'm gonna tell you this, but you just can't tell him I told you.
I go home, immediately send my ex a JPEG. I'm typing, you did this, I'm cussing him out, going off.
Tell me what you're talking about. Who told you this? What's going on?
I went to my cousin's house. Her man at the time gave me some mace. Like, what was you thinking? I was like, I don't know. All right, so like I was telling y'all, initially my ex was not going to move in with me. So the whole visiting back and forth in the prison was going on for a while. I would go like literally every weekend, even before I really started going up there. He stayed, the prison that he was in was like in Colorado Springs. So they had a different area code than I had in Aurora, Colorado. So in order to not pay an arm and a leg for the calls, I got a cell phone with a Colorado Springs area code, and that helped kind of cut down on the cost. And again, I was visiting all the time. So I told y'all the inmate dude showed up at my house. I don't know what happened to him after I made that phone call. Never heard back from him again. But anyway, I ended up getting a call that my ex was going to be released that November. So I'm like, okay, cool. We got a date. He's coming home. So, again, the plan was for him to stay with his parents' house. That's who he paroled to. That was what we was going to do. But again, my little young in love self wanted him to move in with me. We talked about it, but his reasoning was that he did not want anybody to think that he was using me. And he didn't want to be criticized by anybody that he's going straight from prison to my house. But anyway, the day that he got out, I pulled up. I was there where the bus got let out. And let me see, I think I remember what I had on. I had on this little white and gold, cute little collar shirt, some denim capri pants, and some gold heels that I wore to prom. And picked him up. I think the first stop that we made was my house. So when he saw my apartment, I surprised him with all the clothes. I think I had showed him all the money that I had saved up and everything. Like, yeah. So he instantly was like, he instantly changed his mind from moving to his parents' house to moving with me. So he had called to get the the address changed. He called his parole officer. I don't know if he had to check in first there or if he was able to go to my apartment and then go check in, but he got all of it situated, and that was his first day moving in with me.
I haven't really officially done a tour of my house, so I guess I'll do that. It's been filmed, but can't really get the full effect. This is the front door where you first walk in. Gotta keep stuff under the door because of the cold draft. Here's the living room. Everything in here is owned by I. Here's my sofas, my end tables, my coffee table, my beautiful black African statue. My living room's gonna be eventually African themed. It's my entertainment center, my little 32-inch TV, my bookshelf, and my CD case. I'm gonna build on my CD collection. Here's that girl, the graduate diploma, caps, all that good stuff. Here's my kitchen, kind of dirty right now because I don't have no dishwashing liquid since we snowed in. This is clean. Here's my kitchen, my little built-in microwave. That's how that looks. Little hardwood floors. Got that. What's in the fridge? A little something. Stuff I've cooked and stuff like that. A little something in the pantry. Not much. Here's my little dining room. My dining room, two of my chairs have not been delivered yet. And this is my little table. It matches the tables in the living room. Here's the little matching mirror. Here's the bathroom. My little oval tub. Toilet. Got a nice sized mirror. And a little medicine cabinet with a mirror on it. Ain't got nothing in there. Here's my little area where my laundry goes. Not really a washroom, but where my washer and dryer is. A little shelf up there where I keep my hamper. Y'all seen, ooh, I done broke a handle. Already breaking stuff. And I gotta screw this handle back on. Nice and tight. My bed's not made because I just woke up there. Y'all can see the bedroom later. So yeah, that's me. Trying to do big things. It's a snow day. I'm about to sing a song by Jennifer Hudson called Stand Up because I'm bored. It's a snow day and I have to do it.
I think I'm going to spare the details of the things that went on in those first couple of days. But let's just say that I ended up having to go to the ER for a specific reason that didn't have anything to do with him. And it was probably either the day after he came home or 2 days after. And I remember having to go to the ER, and it was very busy that day. So I was in there for a while, but he did not stay long with me, which was a red flag. He claimed that he just didn't like hospitals, but what he did was took the car and went and ran the streets and did whatever he wanted to do and came back and picked me up when it was time for me to go. So I was very upset about that. I felt like, you could have stayed at the hospital with me. But I didn't make a big deal out of it, but that's one of the things that bothered me. And shortly after that, I ended up having to have surgery. Probably, I don't know if it was within that month or within the next couple of months after he moved in with me, I had to have surgery. And he was there to support me on that hospital visit and that surgery, but I just felt like he said the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like right before when they were telling me about the anesthesia and all of that, he was like, I'm scared. What if you don't wake up? I'm thinking, I wasn't even thinking about that, but now I am. So, um, even though he was a lot older than me, sometimes, he was still a young man. So at this time I'm 19, he's 26. So like, yeah. So that was pretty much what was going on. In the first couple of months of us staying with each other. It was a lot of getting to know each other on a different level because, as you remember, I met him when I was 16. He was 23. I was still staying with my grandmother, and then I moved back to my parents' house. And then, we wouldn't see each other that much. We would kick it, and it wasn't like a lot of time to get to know each other on a deeper level, writing each other letters while he was in prison, talking on the phone. We're getting to know each other, but then it's different from being in each other's presence, living in the same house. And this goes with any couple of any age, regardless of age gap or inappropriateness or whatever. Moving in with each other is a different level of understanding. And I remember um, one of the challenges we had was our first holiday together, which was Thanksgiving. um, with me growing up with my parents and celebrating Thanksgiving in a certain way. We had the same menu every year: turkey, dressing, sweet potatoes, greens, cabbage, cornbread, gravy, whatever. We used to have chicken. We used to have pretty much the same menu every year. So when we went grocery shopping for our Thanksgiving meal, and that's what I'm putting in the basket: turkey, cornbread, chicken broth so I can make the dressing and all of these things. And we got into it at the grocery store because he was like, I don't want that. That ain't what I'm trying to eat. Like, I want to try something different. And I really wasn't open to that. I was just so hell bent on this is how it needs to be. So we got into it at the grocery store. I literally got so mad that I just left the basket in the middle of the aisle. And he went one way, I went the other way. And then I finally was just like, you know what? You're right. Do what you want to do. And what he ended up getting, he got some Cornish hens, and I forgot what he put on the side, but it was actually really good. And so we, had to learn about starting our own traditions and everything at this point. One thing that I will say is that we started arguing more, of course, because we are under the same roof. We're really getting to know each other. I'm learning who you are outside of the penitentiary promises. I'm trying to see, are you really sticking to your word? And at this point, was I in nursing school? I was in nursing school, so I had a lot on my plate with that. And I'll probably get into more details about what was going on as far as how our arguments were going in another video. So in the interview on the Hopeless Romantic Society with JC Carter, I said that I wouldn't recommend, you know, the whole prison woman girlfriend thing. I know that, some people make mistakes, or some people live a certain lifestyle and then they change later. And I'm not saying that they don't deserve love or second chances or any of that. But I would say if you are not married to someone or deeply committed to them, and you are fully grown, and you've spent some time with this person outside of those walls, then you should deeply consider what you're getting yourself into. Because most likely, if someone goes to prison or they're in prison, they may return. So you have to ask yourself, is this something that you're willing to do again? Is this something that you're willing to be a part of? Are you willing to take the responsibility of being responsible for this person? Because if they don't have their outside income set up, they're going to need some help. If their family is not supporting them, they're going to rely on you. Are you willing to do the bid with them, meaning spend a lot of the time on the phone, writing letters, going to do visits. You really have to ask yourself that. So I definitely don't advise a teenage girl or a young woman who hasn't really explored life or hasn't dated or hasn't even, really got a solid foundation on their own life to be committing themselves to um a prison relationship. So that's my take on that. And as far as moving in with people, I honestly feel like that is a big, huge step. And you really need to know what you're getting yourself into as well when it comes to that. Who is this person? What are their ways? What are their expectations? How are you all going to blend this relationship and live under one roof? Um, have you ever lived with anybody and what was that like? And would you do a bid with someone?